1960, and really big news in the automotive world of Australia. It's the official birthday of Ford's Broadmeadows Assembly Plant, the largest under one roof in this rapidly expanding, progressive southern continent.
Hello, my name's Glenn Moriarty and welcome to this special program celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Ford Falcon. As that old bit of footage just stated, in 1960, Australia was about to embark on a very exciting motoring journey. Sure, there were already Fords on the road, the first being the Model T, but it wasn't until half a century ago that the first real Aussie Falcon was built.
A study of the growing traffic on Australian roads had indicated the necessity to build a quality car with top performance, good fuel economy, comfort, modern design and attractive styling. Ford Australia set itself to do just that.
50 years on, the goals still remain the same. The only difference was back then, this country's population was just over 10 million people. On June 28, 1960, the very first Australian-built Falcon was proudly unveiled at the Ford headquarters in Broadmeadows, Melbourne.
Here is the Australian Falcon, a car of sculptured styling, perfect proportions, a roomy six-seater with a lively six-cylinder 90-horsepower engine, splendid all-round vision and built-in comfort and safety. A car with a proved background and a great future in this country.
Available in a 3-on-the-tree manual or 2-speed automatic, the XK Falcon had it all.
And there is a station wagon, one specially designed in Australia by Australian engineers for Australian conditions.
2 years later, slight changes to design and suspension were made as the XL Falcon was launched, the standard model costing just over £1,000.
With all its new loveliness, Falcon's still the same tough customer you've always admired. Lovely combination of beauty and brawn. Yes, Falcon really is the car you'll stop to look at and like. See the trim, taut, terrific new Falcon at your Ford dealers now.
By 1964, further improvements were made. The most significant, a more powerful 200 cubic inch engine.
New Falcon brings many improvements and refinements, never before used in any Australian-built vehicle. It is first to offer a new improved ride costing £1 million in development. 64 Falcon with certified golden quality.
After the release of the first 3 Falcons, there were some doubts raised over the car's ability to handle the tough Australian conditions. The 1965 XP model silenced any critics. In a widely publicised event, Ford organised 5 of their brand new Falcons to take part in a gruelling, some say crazy, endurance test at the newly built proving ground just outside Melbourne.
A new road, new vehicles, new drivers, a new record-breaking target.
70,000 miles, averaging 70 miles per hour, non-stop for 9 days.
The track, it's torturous to the motor car because it winds and it weaves, and I believe, I haven't counted them myself, but the boys tell me there are 17 bends in it. Well, 17 bends in a 2.2 mile track is fantastic.
Think about that in today's numbers. 112,000 kilometres at 112 k's per hour, day and night. As hard as they tried, the drivers just couldn't break the new XP Falcon.
They imported some of the best drivers in the country to drive these cars and to wear them out, and the only thing that's worn out are the drivers.
The publicity exercise certainly did the trick. The XP model took the prestigious Wheels Car of the Year award. In total, there's been 29 Falcon models released over the past 50 years, and Ford groups them across generations, the second of which kicked off the XR Falcon with seatbelts as an option. In 1966, Australia was introduced to decimal currency, along with the first of the true muscle cars. The XR series now included the GT models with their mighty V8 engines.
And I can still recall a day, I was working over in product development at the time, and lifting the cover, the silk cover off the car, and having a look at it. And it's just absolutely, the memory stays in my mind right now, sort of look at this beautiful gold car with the high performance 289 V8 badge on the side.
And it was the original GT that gave Falcon its first checkered flag at the Bathurst 500-mile endurance race. The Mustang influence was turning heads when the XT Falcon hit the streets.
There's more Mustang in the new Falcon.
Ford was now making its #1 car bigger and bolder. Mind you, in 1969, size and strength were closely associated with style.
Bold, new Falcon.
It's what's happening now. The one that's fun, that's won its place in the hearts of the young.
The GT versions were a growing hit. The XY with handling option, better known as GTHO, was Australia's fastest four-door production car and possibly the quickest four-door sedan in the world. With 385 brake horsepower, pushing it to top speeds of well over 200 kilometres per hour, it came as little surprise when it made a clean sweep of Bathurst.
Moffat's nearest opponent is over a lap behind, and his overall time of 6 hours, 9 minutes, 49.5 seconds betters the previous record by over 20 minutes.
Coming up, the Falcon enters a third generation, and we close the chapter on one of the biggest mysteries in Australian motorsport.
Oh, we've had another bang at this at the race.
Dick Johnson, he has gone into the fence.
These two guys were up and took off at 100 mile an hour and they never saw them again.
In 1972, Daddy Cool were rocking up the charts. Gough Whitlam became the 21st Prime Minister of Australia, and the XA became the first Falcon to be completely designed in Australia. It was also the first to come complete with front disc brakes across the board.
It just looks strong, it looks masculine, it looks what I think the Australian buyer is looking for.
Falcon sales were rocketing. Demand was so great, Ford needed to produce 220,000 of the preceding XB models over the next 3-year period.
So size it up, because when you size it up for a Falcon, it's you.
37 years later, the XB is still a favourite, and I should know because this baby is all mine. After seeing Mad Max as a kid, I grew up dreaming about owning one of these cars, and just a few years ago, I turned this old coupe into the V8 302 3-speed auto black beast that I always wanted. In 1976, the last of the XB GTs rolled out to allow the XC to take its place. Confidence growing, and a line of our leading race drivers put their faith in the latest Falcon.
Between them, these 6 professional racing drivers have won just about everything worth winning in Australian motorsport. They came to the Ford high-speed test track today to prove a point.
Do I remember it, mate? I tell you what, that was an underpants changing experience, I can tell you.
6 special plywood cutouts were set up on the track for the test runs, while a very apprehensive cameraman looked on.
It's not much fun standing with your back to somebody and you've got to trust them, I suppose. One would hope.
One final check, and the moment of truth had arrived.
Action!
The Falcon is now travelling at over 90 kilometres per hour. Once again. And the point we're making is that no matter how a car looks when it's driven around witches' hats, it's how a car performs when your life's at stake that really counts. We never felt better about Falcon. And Falcon never felt better.
There was also plenty to celebrate on a different racetrack. Alan Moffat and Colin Bond provided Ford with one of its proudest moments.
A scene we've never seen before, and Moffat from the outside will sweep around and take the checkered flag first for victory in the 1977 Hardy Ferodo 1000.
1979 was the year Mad Max the movie was released in Australia. And who could ever forget Mel Gibson's XB Falcon Coupe, the Pursuit Special with a supercharged 351 cubic inch V8. While Max and the biker gangs were tearing up the highways, Ford were busy preparing to launch the 4th generation of Falcon. Despite the popular European styling, the XD Falcon was the first designed in Australia from a clean piece of paper.
These cars would be different, smaller, lighter, technologically advanced, but maintaining a Ford family resemblance.
The XD heralded the first mass-produced vehicle in the world to use a plastic fuel tank, making it lighter and more fuel efficient. Racing driver Dick Johnson had mortgaged his home to race the XD at Bathurst. He was leading the race when disaster struck.
But he has gone into the fence. Dick Johnson, the leader, he's broken the left-hand front suspension. You can see by the way the car is leading down. Now, a rescue vehicle has been out to bring in one of the damaged vehicles.
And that was in the days when they used to have the tilt tray trucks going around Bathurst, picking up all the broken down Commodores and that. So as I crested the hill out of the cutting, there's also beside the truck was this rock, and I tried to go around the rock, but obviously hit the rock and into the fence as well. So, and that ended our race.
How that rock came to be on the track had been a complete mystery for nearly 30 years.
What actually happened, and it was only as late as about 18 months ago, I got an email from a gentleman and his wife who were residents at Bathurst at that particular time. And as it transpired, there was two guys who wandered up the mountain who'd obviously been out all night on the terps for some reason, sat right down in front of these people, and that's what really took their notice. And one of the guys just accidentally dislodged this rock and it rolled down on the track. And from that point on, these people told me that these two guys were up and took off at 100 miles an hour and they never saw them again.
Dick would return to the mountain 12 months later, with Ford Australia and a blue army of fans right behind him. More firsts were on the horizon. In 1982, the XE Falcon became the first motor vehicle to receive an Australian Design Award. Together with electronic fuel injection and Watts-Link suspension, which provided a more pleasant and precise driving experience, Ford took overall market leadership.
Don't settle for less, mate. Falcon's the answer.
Sales continued to soar. In 1985, Falcon number 1.5 million rolled off the line at Ford's Broadmeadows production plant. Coming up, the Ford Falcon enters its 5th generation and one man's passion for his beast.
If it had wheels and an engine, I wanted to drive it.
Here at the Ford Discovery Centre in Geelong, you can get a true appreciation of just how far the motoring industry in this country has come over the past 100 plus years. A lot of the magnificent cars on display here are on loan from enthusiasts who all share an enormous passion for a particular Ford. And there's one man you might recognise who considers his Falcon to be part of the family.
My car has been like a campfire to me and my friends.
It's always been about friendship, and that's how you'd sum that car up.
You can develop a relationship with a car. There's not a lot of room for bonding with objects and even people sometimes. And I think that's tragic.
In 2005, I decided to rebuild the coupe for the last time. A total ground-up restoration that would end in the ultimate version of my beast. This time in full race specification with over 600 horsepower.
1 week till she starts, 3 weeks till she drives. Very, very, very excited.
With no expense spared and thousands of man-hours put into it, it literally was a work of art. It was finally my perfect beast.
3, 2, 1, go!
So 600 horsepower and leaf springs.
Yeah, well, the category I race in, you have to keep the original suspension, pickup points and geometry.
Are you mad?
1988, Australia was celebrating its bicentenary, while Ford was celebrating an historic milestone as the 2 millionth Falcon rolled off the assembly line. $700 million was invested to create the Falcon of the 90s. The EA, the first Australian car with rake and reach adjustable steering. Series 2 became the first to feature electronically controlled automatic transmission in an Australian car. The EB's release in 1991 saw the first Australian mainstream vehicle to come with ABS brakes.
The Dicky boy leads the field.
Dick Johnson had raced just about every Falcon ever made. The EB was something special.
Of all the cars I've driven at Bathurst, if I had to say there was a perfect car, that was it.
Safety was becoming the #1 priority. The Air Falcon was the first manufactured in this country with a driver's airbag as standard equipment. In the late 90s, Ford chose a bold direction in the Falcon's design, and the AU adopted the company's new edge styling. In 1998, Australian astronaut Andy Thomas spent 130 days aboard a Russian space station, while Ford were launching its 6th-generation Falcon. The AU introduced yet another first in the Australian motor vehicle industry: independent rear suspension, delivering more precise steering and responsive handling.
It has the most Australian content, it has the most Australian engineering, and it has the most use of Australian suppliers throughout the industry.
Along with independent rear suspension, the AU Falcon was the first in its class to offer driver and passenger airbags as standard equipment right across the range.
The structure, the interior, the restraints, the airbags all had to be integrated to be one solid safety package.
Because of all the computer power we have, we can simulate hundreds and hundreds of crashes that other companies can't due to a limitation in power.
We've done something like 2,500 computer simulations backed up by 60 real-world crash tests.
We have the state-of-the-art crash facility in the US.
Ford is about going way beyond government regulations.
The new Falcon we brought out is definitely the safest ever. It's a totally integrated package.
Because it's got the ABS brakes, because it's got the passenger airbag, because it's got the offset, it's got the side impact, it's got the roof crush. If you had to have a crash, then I think this is the car I'd like to be in.
In 2002, the BA Falcon was released, the Ford design team receiving further recognition when it clinched the Wheels Car of the Year award. 3 years later, the BF was launched, and Australia had its first 6-speed automatic. Ford's commitment is not confined to making great road cars. Their long-term loyalty extends to the competitive sporting world with partnerships including Cricket Australia, surfing's Rip Curl Pro and AFL football.
The partnership between Ford and Geelong Footy Club started in 1925, the year of the introduction of the T model and the year of our first premiership. So it started with a bang. It still goes today, 85 years on, and we believe it's the longest continuous sports sponsorship in the world.
Coming up, today's mighty FG Falcon and a line of special 50th anniversary models are put to the test.
If it wasn't for these Falcons, we wouldn't have V8 racing.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
So here we are today with the latest Falcon range. 50 years after the first was introduced, the FG is more of a reminder of how far we've come. And this latest Falcon scored a maximum 5-star safety rating from ANCAP, the first Australian manufactured car to do so. From the entry-level XT and G series to the sporty XR6 Turbo and XR8, there's a Falcon model to suit everyone.
In 2010, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Falcon, we will be bringing the 50th anniversary vehicle to market. The vehicles will go on sale in August and September, and there will be a progressive rollout of the various derivatives of the 50th anniversary.
The Falcon 50th anniversary range includes 6 eye-catching cars across both sedan and ute body styles. The new XR models are available in this sunburst burnt orange paintwork. All models carry anniversary badging on the body and inside the car, including this special embroidered logo on the seats. Dual zone climate control and high series sports leather steering wheel come standard across the XR50 range, while the G series include a satellite navigation system and 19-inch alloys.
The little styling tweaks is good. It's always good to refresh it, and it looks a bit more racy, which is a big plus.
Putting one of the new XR6 limited edition models to the test is V8 supercar driver James Courtney.
The car is really taking the load very well for a long corner as it's getting on the gas. It's not wanting to slide in the front or rear. It's very well balanced. So it's, it's just they've done a great job on developing the chassis and suspension. Especially into this corner, it's very hard on the brakes, left-hander, carrying quite a bit of speed now, trying to stop it and carry the brake. It follows the bumps on the road really well is what you really, really want. And now we're testing the braking capabilities right here. Very good. Engine's nice and smooth on the exit too, so there's nothing this car can't do. Yeah, I was having a great time. It's not too often you get loose on the roads and told to have a good time. So the car handled really, really well. It did everything it's supposed to. It's a real driver's car, something that I love, and that's what the Falcon has been for a long time.
While we all like to look back at our achievements, Ford Australia is looking to the future, a cleaner, more efficient one.
Another significant first that will be coming to Australia, and specifically to the iconic Falcon, will be the introduction of the all-new EcoBoost engine technology to the vehicle. It will make it the first rear-wheel drive vehicle globally in the Ford world that will have the 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, delivering the highest levels of fuel efficiency for a large car, as well as significant reductions in fuel emissions. All of this is achieved through the hard work, loyalty and dedication of the people of Ford of Australia, and the support that all of us have received from our suppliers, from our dealers. So I think together in 2010, we all have a very good reason to celebrate.
Since 1960, nearly 3.5 million Falcon sedans have been built, making this iconic car the longest-running nameplate in Australian motoring history. 50 years on, and still going strong.